Hi, good afternoon. Today we are going to have a webinar and a quick demonstration of Microsoft Power BI. My name is Shaun and I'm a Dynamics GP consultant here at Nolan Business Solutions. So, shall we start with what we'd like to go through today and what our agenda is. So, we'll start with what is Power BI or Power Business Intelligence. How can Power BI be used for your business or enhance it? A quick demonstration, and we'll also allow you to, or give you some details on questions and some links to some more details for Power BI on the Microsoft website. So shall we start with what is Power BI? Well, Power BI is a suite of analytics, which is basically a set of reports or visualizations, or the ability to create reports to analyze your data and share that data or share insights based on that data. So you can share information with colleagues or other people inside your organization or outside of your organization. So you can monitor business and get answers quickly with rich dashboards available on every device. So that would be dashboards that you could see on your iPad or your iPhone or an Android-enabled device, like or an Android-enabled tablet as well. So Power BI can basically run on any web-enabled device, so to speak. Okay, so publish reports securely to your organization with the ability to automatically refresh data. So you can set refresh schedules, and that can refresh your reports daily or every few hours, and you can get information quickly to the people that need it. All right, so the basic elements, if you will, of Power BI. So the core element of Power BI is your Power BI desktop, which is basically where you would create your reports and you'd publish your reports and create your connection to your data source, being either SQL Server or an actual Excel spreadsheet or whatever the source is. You can also connect Power BI to a web service. So Power BI has a web service that you can connect to apps, apps like Salesforce or a cloud-based app or Facebook, or there is a long list, which I'll show you in a bit what data sources there are available to you. So then we've got our Power BI Gateway. This is a application element that allows you to link to a data source, being that SQL Server or Azure or whatever your company's or organization's data is. And then we have, of course, the output. So the visualizations that people would see, your dashboards or your reports, can be output to a web-enabled device. So you'd basically publish your reports, your dashboards up into the web, and someone would log in via their laptop or phone or tablet to the Power BI web, and they'd be able to view the reports quite quickly. Okay, so how can Power BI enhance your business, or how can it be used in your business? Well, Power BI can help you get substantive content to the people who need it in a fast and efficient manner. So you can create nice sales reports or management reports, management KPIs and things like that, and you can quickly publish it and give that access to management or the operations team or the sales team quickly. And it can also make it easier for your teams to share insights, make decisions, and take action. So if the quicker salespeople have the data in front of them, the quicker they can make decisions and obviously upsell products and get you more money effectively. And also one of the key benefits of Power BI is also visibility of key data to a larger audience. So perhaps you want some dashboards available to people who don't necessarily need them, but you want to give visibility of what's happening in the business to various people, or to a specific generic dashboard. So you can create a generic dashboard just giving information and make that available to anyone you'd like. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go through a demonstration of how it works and a quick overview of the different Power BI elements, like the desktop, and then creating dashboards, and then how we publish that dashboards or reports up into the web, and how we make that dashboard visible in Dynamics GP. Okay, so I'm going to just exit my PowerPoint, and I'm going to go to my virtual machine. So on the screen now I have a Power BI desktop file open. So in your Power BI desktop is where you'd spend most of your time designing the reports and making them look nice, and then uploading them or publishing them or sharing them up into the web and make them available to users to actually use and see. Okay, so the first thing you start with any report really is the actual data with which the report's going to be based on. So it's very important that the structure of your data is meaningful, and if you have a good structure to your data and the data is available, your report will be easier to create the reports and more user-friendly. So if we get started with getting the actual data, and I'll go through what the actual data connection options are, and then we can get started from there, and I'll show you how to create a basic report with some basic visualizations on, and we can publish those. So if we start with how we get our data, so if we go to the get data, so you can see there the various options we have is Excel, SQL Server, analysis services. So analysis services, if you've not used it before or haven't heard of it, is something Microsoft have, which is based on data warehousing or data cubes. So if I click on the More button at the bottom there, you can see that Microsoft have incorporated a lot of data links to data sets. So from a Dynamics GP perspective, unfortunately, they haven't given us one that says Dynamics GP. That's probably because Microsoft are moving towards Dynamics 365. So Dynamics 365 will be the cloud financial system that Microsoft will be trying to link. However, we don't need a Dynamics GP data source. We can just connect straight to SQL Server and get our data that way. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to our SQL Server. I'm going to enter my server name. So this is details you'd get from your IT person, and type in the database name, and then I'm going to choose import. So the difference between direct query and import is import will import the data that you've selected. So if I choose a table with all the customer data in it, it will import all the rows of that table. And if I wanted to filter it down, I could filter it down further before I save it and import. But whatever table or view I choose, next it will import it into the file. So the reason it does that is to make the data retrieval quicker And also, if you have large sets of data, you don't want to have direct query, because direct query will mean that every time you do something on the report, or change a filter or change a year or something, it will have to query back to the database directly to get the information. And if you have a large data set, as I mentioned, it could take long to refresh a report. So import is a good method to use. And if you have schedule set up, you can schedule a refresh of the imports every few hours. That will refresh the file, the actual reports, and give you the latest information. So if I click on OK, it will connect to my server and it will show me all my database tables and views. Of course, I don't expect any of you guys to know the name of the tables or anything like that in GP. So I've created views and I will tick them and I will load them. So I've already done that, so I won't do it now because it takes a while to upload the data. So if you do have like 1,000 rows, it will attempt to load all 1,000 rows. So potentially this initial task could take a while. So you would just tick the ones that the table or the view that you wanted, and you click on load, and then Dynamics would show up a progress window to load them. So I'm going to just come out of here. So I've now loaded my views here, so they're visible here. So if you loaded a table, it will show you your GP table name here, and then if you expand it, you can expand all the field names in there. So it tells you what kind of a field name type. So this little icon or symbol there indicates that it's a numeric field. So you could carry out numeric tasks or sums, averages, and that sort of thing on, or mathematical calculations on those fields. And with one without is a text-based field. Okay, so we're going to start with a simple pie chart. So on our visualizations here on the right, we have lots of different options. So we have our stack charts, we have our pie chart, we have a scatter chart, we have a table chart, and then we have a card. A card is basically a little box where you can stick on the report, and you can tell it the value is the total sales, and it will show the total sales value in that card. And then we have our standard pie chart, and so there's loads. I mean, you can even import a custom visual. So if you've got custom visuals somewhere from the internet or from another business intelligence tool, you can attempt to upload it, import it, and Microsoft Power BI will pop it in there if it's compatible, of course. So if I choose pie chart, and I just move it anywhere on your screen here, so I'll add it there, and I'll just make it a little bit larger so we can see it. So I want to show in this pie chart the total quantity of goods sold per customer per year. So what I start with here is I will drag quantity, because that's the value I want to analyze, in there, and then I will say, well, how do I want to split that quantity down in my pie chart? So I want to split it by customer name. Okay, so we've got customer name and our quantity in there, so you could see our various customers, and then so for Erin Fitz Electrical there, 21% of the total items sold was through them. I could also add a table. Sorry. I could also click on a blank place, click off my project, otherwise you'll make the mistake I've done, and I'll add a table. And I'm going to just resize the table a bit, because I'm going to add columns. So what we do is we can just tick our columns there. You basically tick the fields, and it knows because it's a table type, you tick the fields, it adds the values in, and I'm going to just add in all of those. Okay, so now we've got a very quick a report here already with our table of our details. So this is a table of items and how many, the total of sales for that year. And I don't want to actually add a total in there, so if I do sales, okay, something doing strange with the year, so I'll just leave that. Okay, so I now want to be able to filter this pie chart. Let me just quickly change the title there so it makes more sense. So I can go into title, so I can say sales quantity by customer. And I want to center that and I want to make it a little bit bigger. So I want to be able to filter this particular report by a year. So what I'll do is I want to add a slicer to the report. A slicer is effectively a filter. So when you add a slicer to a report, you can link that slicer to a specific visualization and it can filter that visualization. So I want to filter that visualization by year. So I'll just do that. And you'll notice because my slicer, I've grabbed the year from the same data that my sales quantity by customer is based on, it will automatically link them. So now if I change, let me just change my slicer to enable select all, so I can select all of the items. You can see there it could change dynamically based on what I select. You could do the same for this, but basically you could link your views or tables together, and if you did do that, I haven't done that because that's slightly more complicated than we need to get to today, but you can link views and tables together, and if they link together, you could link this table to that year as well, because the tables will be linked, and whatever I select here you could change in this table as well. So you can create relationships between all the actual visualizations if it's the same, based on the same or similar data. Okay, so I've now created a basic report. So you can see that it's fairly quick. The only complicated bit was probably getting the data and structuring your data. But if I now, so I'll save this and I will click on publish. So because you need to register on Microsoft, so you'd need to go to the Power BI website and register with Microsoft Power BI. Alternatively, if you have an Office 365 login details, you can log in with that. But because I don't, I've registered my Nolan Business Solutions email address on there, and I've created an account. So basically it asks me to log into my Power BI account, and it wants me to upload this report to that. So basically what it will do, it will upload my settings for that, and it's done it successfully. Great. So I could click on Open PI Webinar in Power BI there, or you can go straight to your Power BI website. So if I just close that and I launch my browser again, so I'm going to get to my Power BI. So I'm going to log into my Power BI account. And if we just quickly go through the Power BI web interface here. So basically we've got our reports, dashboards and data sets on the left. Favorites would be, I could go and choose a dashboard and I can set it as a favorite and I can have a list. So let's say you've got 50 dashboards. You can set 5 of those 50 to be your favorites and they will appear here, and so it's a quick link instead of going through a long list of dashboards if you have quite a lot. Your report section would be all the reports that you've created through your desktop. So we've created one called Power BI Webinar, and that will now appear as a report there. You'll notice in my dashboards I don't have a Power BI webinar. That's because it's just a report at the moment. It's not a dashboard. I'd have to go and add it to a dashboard or create a dashboard from the report. So we'll do that in a bit. Our data sets are, if within our desktop we create links to a data set, Excel or SQL Server, and then we call it something, or save the desktop or the report, it will save that as a data set name as well. So pretty much what your report name is, it will save as a data set name, and you can control, this is where you would control refreshing the data set, setting your schedule if it's based off tables and stuff, and it's a direct it's an import. You can change your schedule and you can schedule the data anytime you like. So if I clicked on schedule there, it would ask me how often do I want to schedule this, daily, weekly, whatever. I'll click apply, and I won't do it, but I'll click apply and schedule it, and Power BI would run a schedule on that daily and then update your data for you. So as you saw when I clicked on refresh date or refresh history, it will show you the details that's been refreshed, and if it failed it would also show you there that it's failed. So I won't refresh that because my demo dashboard is quite large and it's got quite a few pages on it, and it will take a bit of time to actually refresh that. Okay. So if I go now to my report section, so this is my new report that I've created. As you can see, I can select all. So in order to add this report to my dashboard, or I would like to make this report being these two elements here available on a dashboard, and then I'd like to publish that dashboard to other people. So what I could do is I will select all this, so to make sure all my years are selected, and when I highlight the visualization or the report, there is a little pin, join pin icon there. So if I click it, it would say pin to dashboard. So do I have is it an existing dashboard or is it a new one? So I'm going to choose new one. So I'm going to say Power BI Webinar. I'm going to click on pin, and I'm going to just show me this one. I'm going to click to existing because it's now existing. So Power BI Webinar pin. So now if I go to dashboards, you can see there my Power BI dashboard, Power BI Webinar dashboard has now been enabled. And you can move things around if you'd like. So if you had more visualizations, like another stack chart there or a scatter chart or whatever you wanted in there, you can move things around. Okay, you can also click on share, and you can actually email this to people. Now you can only email and share dashboards and reports with other people if you have the Power BI Pro account. Unfortunately that account, as far as I know, is not free. There is a trial version that you could trial it for 60 days, but if you want to have a Power BI, if you do choose to get Power BI and you want to be able to share and give access to dashboards to other users in your company or other people, you'd need to have the Pro account, and you'd be able to do that. Okay. So you can see there, quick and simple, as a dashboard, a basic dashboard with basic data. I also have a more complicated dashboard. If I click on dashboards, more complicated in a sense that it's got more reports on it. So this is an example of our eRequest dashboard. So eRequest being the Nolan Business Solutions purchasing web application, and inside it we have showing a list of orders, who requested it, who did we buy from, and what did we buy. So it just gives you a sense of how we could use Power BI and what information will be available to users when they actually see it and they see the reports available to them. Okay, so the next bit is we've now got a nice dashboard, but you know, we are the main users are potentially GP users. So Microsoft have added the ability to view basic dashboards in Microsoft Dynamics GP. So we can, if we go to Dynamics GP, there's some elements of setup you need to do in GP before you could start using it. So in the report setup, if you had someone set up reports for you where you got reporting services or Excel reports or management reporter, there's a Power BI tab in there, and you would enter the Power BI URL, which is effectively what you see on screen, and you need to then click on this link that where it says use this link, and basically it will take you to another screen where you would need to enter your Power BI email accounts, answer a couple of questions, enter a web address, and click apply or register. Click register, and the output will be this unique client ID. So this unique client ID links your Power BI account to your to GP. So when GP runs, it will know that, oh, this is the dashboard account, the Power BI account. It will link that and will show all the dashboards that we've enabled in GP. So if I exit that, so the dashboards will appear on your home screen. So if you customize your home screen, once you've enabled Power BI in GP, so you've entered those details that I showed you previously, and you've clicked OK, and GP successfully logged into the Power BI account, the Power BI option would now appear in your customized homepage screen. So I'm going to enable Power BI, and I'm going to click on the blue arrow here. So it will log into our Power BI, and it will show me what dashboards are available. So you can see there I've got a number of dashboards that have been made available. So I'll expand my ones that I've just created, and I will click on insert there, and I'll move them to the right hand side. So these, I've enabled those reports. I'll click OK. At the moment, because I'm using GP 2016 RTM at the moment, you do get script errors, but it doesn't stop the dashboard from displaying. You just click yes and it runs. There is a known bug, if you will, or a hidden feature where you will get a scripting issue, but it doesn't actually stop the report from running. As you can see, they display perfectly fine in our screen. So as you with other GP home stuff, you could switch between which one you want to see in the main screen and which one you don't. And obviously, because you've got limited screen space, you'd only be able to fit a handful of these little mini reports or dashboards inside GP. Okay, so if you were to double click on one. GP will attempt to run the Power BI web, and it will ask you to log in. So of course if the user doesn't know the login details, they won't be able to do this, but basically it will launch the web and will take you straight to the Power BI report using the web interface with limited functionality, of course. Okay, so I'll close that, and okay, so that's just a quick demonstration of how Power BI can be used to create some basic reports. Of course, you can make reports as complicated as you want with very nice stacked charts or KPIs, tables, whatever you require, and you can display them in GP. But obviously keep in mind, the more complicated the reports are, the longer they will take to run, and if you do show them in GP will take a long time to log in initially. So just keep that in mind if you do want to display reports in GP. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, you can forward it to our sales team at sales@nolanbusinesssolutions.com, and if you have more details on if you want more details on Power BI, you can visit that web link on your screen, and you can download Power BI for free, and you could create a Power BI account for free, and you could do everything I've just done for free except for some of the Power BI Pro functionality, which you can trial for 60 days, but you probably need to pay for if you do wish to use the benefits of the Pro version. But all that information is on the Microsoft website, and it will tell you what you can and can't do with the standard version or the Pro version. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.